Hey, Jason's balls dropped, so it must be 2018. Welcome to the Final Guys.
I have to be careful. My voice might squeak from being sick.
Exactly, Bobby Brady. Oh, no, it was Peter Brady. So anyway, I'm Hunter Shea, and I'm joined by my cohorts, my partners in grime, Jack Campisi.
Happy New Year.
And Jason Brant.
Happy New Year, weirdos.
Now, you sounded pretty good there, even though you're under the weather. I'm impressed.
Got some lozenges. I'm hanging in there.
Some lozenges.
My lozenge.
I've got lozenges, too. It's known as Patron. It's working quite well.
This bourbon's got mentholyptus in it.
Well, booze might be half the reason I'm sick. I may have overdone it a little for the holidays.
I barely drank anything, so I have to make up for lost time. We're doing a different show today because this is our first show of 2018. It's January 2nd. We are going to do our top 10 horror movies of 2017. And when I say top 10, I don't mean we kind of like met together and came up with 10 because we don't have that kind of time and we'd fight all day. So each of us will have our top 10, right? Because we can never agree.
That's right. Absolutely not.
That would be impossible. And I have to say, it's great to be back. I was gone a long time.
I know.
We'd considered firing you, but decided against it.
You can't fire a guy that you don't pay, schmucko. So anyway.
Hey, before you jump into it, Sheridan decided to show up with the drinking rules at the last possible second.
Oh, look. What things do we have to say to make Sheridan happy?
All right. For this week, if Jack says Game, Mummy, and Annabelle, drink. Hunter, for you, it's Mother, Australia, and Star Wars. And for me, it's Bad Ben, Ensemble, Dark Tower. And the liver bonus for the week, if any of us says List King or 2017. That's a rough one.
Well, 2017's already been said, and now it's been said twice.
So those people were going to dry out in the new year. Not if you're playing this game.
Yeah, don't bother. You're with the Final Guys now.
I hope that wasn't anyone's resolution.
Only pussies don't drink. By the way, speaking of people drinking, I want to thank Spence, who actually consulted with me what he should drink tonight. And he had, I think, Miller High Life or what was it, Schaefer. So I advised him Schaefer because Jack, you were with me. We put Schaefer in my dad's coffin.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a good thing. So Spence, thank you for drinking Schaefer. And for that, you may date one of my daughters. You can pick which one. You've met one, and you guys kind of get along, and you guys are kind of similar.
That's all it takes.
Yeah,
just drink Schaefer. Boom.
You drink Schaefer. You can have a kid.
He also may buy us Schaefer sometime at a bar.
Yes, the oldest has a boyfriend, but I don't know. You know, it's whatever. You can have her. So now that I've given one of my,
you've auctioned off your. How much for the little girl? I want to buy your women.
How much for the girls? Spencer is a very nice man, and I could do worse for a son-in-law. Now that I'm done with that. Jack, first, before we get into the list, is there anything you need to catch the world up on?
No. I will say this. You want to get into the list, or do you guys got anything you want to say before you?
Just say something.
I just wanted to talk about my approach to the list. Because I think if I look at this list again after we do it, like an hour after we do it, I'd be like, I could switch these two. It's a very fluid thing. And I started thinking about a couple of the ways that we've described ourselves before. I always kind of talk about my list as being, if I had a bunch of Blu-rays in my house and a horror fan came over and I was going to say, what are the 10 movies that you should watch? These are the 10 DVDs or Blu-rays I'd grab first and give to this person. And then, Hunter, when you gave the analogy of us being like video store guys, and these are our shelves, I took that as it's either one of those. So that's kind of the way I looked at it. So, what's number one versus what's number three? There's some movies that I really feel like this deserves this spot, and there's other ones where I'm like, well, this one's just sort of like at the bottom of the list, and this one's more at the top. And if you ask me tomorrow, I might be like, that was a little lower than this one. There's some I feel strongly about others, but that's where my recommendations are, if I was going to loan you a movie or put it on my video store shelf, this is what I came up with.
Yeah, I go in. You know what I'm doing, because I mean, you and I are going to be doing our show,
Mhm.
Monster Man. We're going to do our top 13 list. I do a blog with it. We do. I mean, we have a lot of lists. So I figure this list I'm going to make. There might be some people that might be wondering where the hell what's happened to me. Have I been hit in the head with by a mule or something? But there were reasons why I'm making this my top 10 list for Final Guys. So because they tickled me in some certain way or hit a certain aesthetic, or the aspect ratio was just off the charts.
There will be mentioning of aspect ratios. I'm just saying.
So my list will be kind of weird, but they're all good movies. I will guarantee you, you're going to get 10 solid movies to watch.
We probably should have talked about this before actually making our list.
I actually like it. I like going in naked like this because then we can fight a little bit. Not too much, because it's our opinion. So it's not. I can't say that's not one of your favorite movies, clearly, but we can voice our opinion on specific movies. It should be fun.
Hey, Jack is all about surprises. That's one thing I've learned being a Monster Man alongside you.
I like the improv, baby.
You come to my house, don't say anything.
Save it for the show.
Save it for the show.
I'm like Regis Philbin. He doesn't like to talk. Save it for the show.
Don't tell me anything.
Look at these people. I wish you were Kelly Ripa, though. Girl.
Oh God, she's starting to look like a toothpick. She needs to eat a sandwich.
Toothpick that I want to cuddle with.
Her boobs look like runny eggs on meat hooks.
Easy, Tanya Harding.
By the way, speaking of that, I am dying to see I, Tonya.
So am I. We should talk about. Let's talk off air.
Yeah, I want to see that.
If that's coming to Alamo, I'll come down there. Don't tell Spence.
It. He might have overheard.
You can buy Schaefer's.
I think it is at the Alamo, and how you can make Margot Robbie look trailer trashy is amazing.
I mean, casting Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding is like.
I know. Like, I could see like Roseanne Barr as Tonya Harding, but not Margot
Brad Pitt as Gilbert Gottfried.
We saw him in October. He is about as big as a walking stick insect. He is so tiny.
He looks like you're visiting him in the hospital in his last days.
He really does. He looks so terrible.
I'm withering away to nothing.
I think the GIs just freed him from a camp.
That's I hope my Aflac is still up to date.
Okay.
All right.
Jason, we're saving Jason's voice for the important stuff.
This is beautiful. You can't talk.
Yeah, well, I can talk now. The barking has stopped.
Has it stopped? All right, good. We've vamped enough. All right, Jack, what we're going to do is we will each do our number 10, our number 9, our number 8, and so on and so forth. So why don't you start us off, Jack, with your number 10 best horror movie of
Let me clarify something. What if, like, my number 3 is your number 8?
Doesn't matter.
Should I reveal that it's that? Or should I say, oh, that's on my list or something?
First of all, you can't reveal because you don't know. I haven't told you.
But if you say a movie I know I'm going to be talking about later.
Doesn't matter. Just do it like we don't know what you're talking about. I just want you to talk so I can drink this Patron. Just talk. God damn.
My number 10 is a movie that I actually didn't want to see. I refused to see it in the theater, and it surprised the living hell out of me so much, and it was so entertaining, and it was kind of like the final girls of this year's horror movie batch that I thought it deserved top 10 stature, but not too high. I'm going Happy Death Day.
Hell yeah, man. It's on mine too.
I didn't get to watch it. Damn it.
It is
the surprise of the year.
Total surprise of the year. And you guys remember when that came out, I was like, no way am I going to the theater. And out of all the movies I saw in the theater, this one I would have actually not regretted paying for. Like I said, when you saw Final Girls, that was like an homage to this genre and people like us. Same thing. This had such a sense of humor to it. Didn't take itself too seriously. Entertaining, scary enough, kind of like a tip of the hat to 90s horror, especially. That I just had a blast with it, and it had to crack the top 10 just for being such a refreshing surprise. And I'll totally watch that movie again.
Now, where did you see it?
I may have seen it on video.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, sure, fine, whatever. You saw it in the movies. I got you.
Theater. Saw it in the
Theater.
theater.
I saw it in the theater.
$2 theater.
I am pissed that I didn't get to see that. It came and went too fast for me. That's what my wife tells me. So anyway, Jason, what's your number 9? 10, 9, 8.
Oh shit! What was my
7.
number 10? My number 10. First of all, I should say I struggled with this a lot. My list fluctuated all day as I was working on it. This is one of the best years for horror I can ever remember. And honestly, the stuff for me from like 10 to 25 could probably be in the top 10 or top 5 of other years.
Absolutely.
This was an incredible year. So Steve Barnard, if you're listening, kiss my ass. This year was awesome.
Well, it wasn't a good year for Japanese zombie hooker
Japanese
chud movies.
Disembodied butthole movies. It was not that good. All right.
That the drinking game?
Number 10, and I struggled with this, but this movie really freaked me out and bummed me out. And I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. And I'm putting it on here because of the effect it had on me. It was 1922, the Netflix original. Holy crap. This movie was incredible. The lead, you won't even recognize him. He's so good in this. And at the end of it, I just wanted to sit there and just wrap a blanket around myself and pretend I hadn't seen that.
I did not know that was Thomas Jane till 70 minutes in.
He is so convincing in this. It's just unreal. And in the year of the Stephen King remakes, this is one I didn't even know was being made, let alone was about to come out. And it just surprised the hell out of me.
That's solid. It's depressing as hell, but it's solid.
It made my top 10 list. I might not ever watch it again.
You don't want to watch it again?
I did not see that movie. I can't. It's one of those ones that I know I have to be in the right mood for. So and after hearing you guys talk about what a downer it is, I'm just like, I'll get around to it sometime.
The next funeral you go to, when you're done with the funeral, turn on 1922. And then drink a bottle of Benadryl and go to sleep.
You get a call at 3:00 in the morning. Who is this? Hunter.
I saw 1922.
Come hold me.
Yeah, the right mood is called bourbon. Lots of bourbon.
Yeah. All right. Here's my number 10. Some people might say this is a superhero movie. I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. It's Logan. Logan, to me, had more blood and guts and gore than almost anything I saw in 2017. It was crass. At parts, it was vile. It might be my favorite superhero movie because it wasn't superheroes. Nobody was super. Some of them were kind of heroes. It was all full of anti-heroes, really. I thought this movie was tremendous. And I saw this. It was me and one dude in a matinee saw this, and when it was over, we both looked at each other across the row and we were like,
Well, first of all, what a strong year for superhero movies in general, because when you got Logan, Wonder Woman, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, I mean, all tremendous movies. And also, like, Logan is such a different movie from Thor Ragnarok, and I love both of those movies. Wonder Woman, every little girl is running around like it changed the world. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is just such a heartfelt, great thing. Logan, though, as a Wolverine fan, I'm watching and go, finally, they're like giving him like a movie that does him justice.
The first real Wolverine movie.
yeah, that.
You consider it horror or just because of how gory it was?
When I walked out of that movie, I said, that's a freaking horror movie. Just for the fact of the gore factor. Just the amount of limbs and death going in there.
It's interesting to say that because every year we do this, there's this gray area of this is a horror movie. This is movies that dance in the Venn diagram. And so as a part of your personal opinion, if you feel like that's a movie that's under the umbrella, go for it. It's your list.
My list is all about dancing in the Venn diagram.
Mine's Dancing in the Rain as if nobody's watching.
I'm Dancing in the Dark. Remember that Jay Giles song?
How about the Bruce Springsteen with Courtney Cox? You can't start a fire without a spark.
I remember going, why are they featuring this girl who looks like a no-titted boy in this video? Like, what's so big about it?
You don't think Courtney Cox is pretty?
Dude, when she got on Friends, she was pretty. In that video, I thought
Sorry, they didn't have Jim J. Bullock there dancing for you.
Oh,
Mr. Rush.
He could have been the next Charles Nelson Riley if he played his cards right. But he didn't
play his cards right.
He sure didn't. Okay,
Jesus
moving
Christ.
on. Check. What's your number 9?
Number 9, because I'm a better horror fan than you two, you probably haven't even seen this movie. Super Dark Times. See it?
I just watched it. I just watched it a couple days ago.
Hunter? Nope.
I want to see it really bad. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you suck at this.
Whatever.
It's actually a really good movie. It bounced in and out of my top 10 list, and I decided to put it in there because it stays with you after you see it. I saw it a couple of months ago, and it stays with me when I talk to people. It's these teenagers go out and they're roughhousing, and something really bad happens that affects all of them, and they have to kind of cover up what happened, and it really takes a toll on a lot of them. So it's a real snapshot of real life in a lot of ways with teenagers and all that, and really worth a watch. It's kind of a slow burn, but then the ending really notches up. Whether you put this in your top 10 or not, like I said, a strong year for movies. Definitely watch this movie. It's good, and thought provoking.
Is it like a modern day River's Edge?
It's got a River's Edge feel to it in places.
I just saw it, and it just barely got edged out of my top 10 list. I had it at the beginning of the day, and then I took it out and I put it back in. Excellent movie. I loved that. It was in my honorable mentions.
Who can
I wanted to give it
Hopper's character in River's Edge?
Been a long time, man.
Feck.
Yeah.
How can you forget Feck? I love that.
The part of the reason I put this on my list though was because I wanted to get attention, because there's a lot of mainstream horror movies that are making other podcast lists, and I'm like, everybody knows that movie, and they're whatever. Super Dark Times is one of those ones that I feel like if you're gonna, I want to put that on my shelf and make sure that people give it a look.
You know what? Maybe I'll watch this after this show. So let's wrap up quickly.
Okay.
Jason, number 8, 9, go.
Number 9. This is one I forgot I'd even watched this year until about an hour before we started, and that is Split by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. His comeback continues. This movie surprised the hell out of me. I really liked it. It's one I can't wait to go back and watch again when the pseudo sequel, whatever they're doing, comes out. With I guess I shouldn't say that's going to be a spoiler. With a really cool character and actor in it, and I thought this movie was fun. I'm looking forward to watching it again.
Almost made my top 10. Didn't. I actually, it was a last second drop. Great movie. It's also dances the line of, is it a horror movie or not? It's definitely has.
Oh, that's a horror movie, I think. My name is Hedwig.
Yeah, McAvoy is so great in that movie, and so is the girl from The Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strong movie all around. A good surprise. A movie that came out from a studio, or was that Blumhouse?
Blumhouse.
I feel like it was Blumhouse. Okay, never mind. I take it back. So,
well, M. Night's comeback continues.
I'm very happy with it. He's shrinking his budget, and it's paying off big dividends, I think.
If he didn't have The Visit, I wouldn't have even probably bothered to go watch that movie. But because of The Visit, I saw that, I think the second day it was out, and loved it.
Same. The Visit convinced me to check this out, and I'm back on board the M. Night train.
There you go. Your
I'm
Shyamalan
on the
Ding
night
Dong.
train.
Thanks, Axel. All right, here's my number 8, which I'm putting this on the list because it was. Oh no, it's 9. Forget it. 9. I just watched this movie New Year's Eve. It's The Lure, which our good friend Steve Barnard had watched. It is a Polish mermaid movie that is also a musical. It's the weirdest movie I've probably watched all year. The music is really kick-ass. The concept is so freaking bizarre. And I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Is it subtitled?
Yes, it is. It's
I
subtitled.
almost pulled the trigger last night, and I was exhausted.
Right.
And it looked like it was going to be subtitles, and I'm like, I don't have the energy for this. I got to save it. But the trailer it's getting great buzz.
It's worth it. If you've ever wondered where a mermaid's vagina is in their whole tail apparatus, this is the movie to see. And if you want nudity, here's the weird thing.
I do.
There are 2 mermaids that show up in this thing, and then they join a family who's abandoned a seedy adult nightclub, and they're like background singers and dancers. but they're very naked in the beginning. And my daughter goes, "Are these girls like 12?" I'm like, oh God, I hope not. They're really young. It's really it's highly strange. It's off the chart strange, but I'm never going to forget this movie. And to do that to me, you get to be in the top 10.
I think you had jacket nudity.
I think I did. The brunette kind of looks like Kendall Jenner. She's really gorgeous.
You had me at Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything like her Pepsi commercial, I'm in.
Oh, that's #1 horror movie of the year. Okay, Jack, what is your numero ocho cinco?
My number 8 is great. It's the holiday themed Better Watch Out.
Very nice.
Another surprise movie. I heard about it, watched it. That movie ratchets up. It takes a turn. A lot of fun. One of the most fun I had watching a movie all year, and it's sort of sibling movie. The Babysitter did not make my list. I almost feel like it's a double feature because they're kind of like similar movies that are very different. Yep. But I thought out of the two of them, Better Watch Out is the better movie because it just gets kind of darker and grimmer as it goes, but it's entertaining the whole time.
It's better done too. It's better directed.
It's better done, and it's got this whole Home Alone tip of the cap thing going that just you could see like the spider and other things like there's a lot of tips to there's a really overt Home Alone nods, and then there's some subtle stuff, and I just thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And you kept guessing what that you couldn't guess the end of that movie, so that's made the list and checked it twice.
That one is in my honorable mentions. Just quite didn't make my top 10. So that was a good one too. I like that.
I'm glad you have honorable mentions. Like anyone gives a crap.
Everybody should give a shit about my honorable mentions.
I hope I made Jason's honorable mention list.
That's right. It's an honor.
I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
That's like the moron kid in grammar school who made perfect attendance because his parents like, you better win something.
Or it's not like that at all, and that was horrible.
It's totally like it.
Okay.
Honorable mention means you lose.
Well, you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. All right, what's number 8? Well, not an honorable mention. What's number 8 of the top 10?
Number 8 is yet another Blumhouse movie, The Belko Experiment.
Oh, love that movie.
Very nice.
I had so much fun with this. I expected it to actually be a little more brutal than it was in some ways and not quite as brutal in other ways. But by the end, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Some really crazy stuff happens in it. The ending was satisfying. Just all around, to me, this is the kind of horror movie I like to see. It's enjoyable. It's crazy. And it's one of those that I couldn't really sit and poke a million holes in, like that this was a problem or that wasn't done well or this acting was terrible. The cast was great. Everything worked. I loved it.
I didn't want to poke holes in it. I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
Nice. So
and I've enjoyed it.
There's a new movie called Mayhem with Glenn from The Walking Dead and the blonde girl Samara Weaving from The Babysitter.
Mm-hmm. On my list.
It is. I saw it. It is the Belko experiment with a virus causing the violence instead of the circumstances in Belko. I like Belko better, but it's a good new movie. I can talk about it next week more. But it's the sister movie to Belko. But I like if you're going to pick one of them, I would watch Belko first.
Wasn't Belko one of the cops in Hill Street Blues?
Yeah, Belzer.
Belzer. Oh, there was Ranko and Belzer. So he's a combination. That was close. All right, Jack. What is your number 8? Did you do 8 already? Oh, you did. Never mind. It's my turn. There we go. I'm in charge. Mine, I picked. It's the longest horror movie of the year, clocking in at just over 2.5 hours. But I picked it because as far as if you're the director of photography, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's the most beautiful horror movie of the year, A Cure for Wellness. Which I remember when we first saw it, I took my daughter to see it, and it's her favorite movie. We bought it for her for Christmas. It's lush and gorgeous, and you really have not seen anything like this in a long, long time. It's unbelievable, but it's long. And then it has this kind of, it's a guy looking for a girl in the sanitarium and all the guy, and it's a lot of weird stuff going on. But then the end turns into a Hammer movie, which, Jack, you would love the end of that.
I did not see this movie.
It's jarring. The length is tough. And I don't know if you'd get the same vibe at home, because you have to see that in the theater to just be completely immersed in the scenery of this. I mean, it's drop dead gorgeous.
The length is the reason I haven't watched it yet, too. I sit down to watch a horror movie, and I'm like, I don't have almost 3 hours to sit here.
Yeah. The story is, you can poke a lot of holes in this story, but if you want to see a horror movie done lovingly, this is one to see, and with an end that will just make you like, what the hell did I just see? And for that, again, it's a movie that stuck with me, like the lure. It hit me in a certain way. So there we go. There's my number 8.
All right.
So Jack, lucky sevens.
Well, I was
lucky number
I was
11.
biting my tongue because my number 7 is the Belko Experiment.
Hey!
I really like this movie a lot, and I actually wrestled with having it higher on my list. It's a Sean Gunn. What's it? Not Sean Gunn. Is it James Gunn? Produced, directed
Gunn.
it. The guy from
James
Guardians
Gunn.
of the
It's,
Galaxy, James Gunn.
He wrote it, I think, right?
Tommy Gunn, the musician.
Isn't Tommy Gunn the boxer from Rocky?
That's Tommy Morrison.
He who had AIDS and then was magically cured.
Yeah, exactly. And then died.
Belko Experiment is like what I'm looking for in a horror movie. There's great kills. It's a lot of fun. It's fast paced. You don't know who's going to live, who's going to die. It just, what a blast, and great banter. You could tell that good writers wrote the dialogue in this, because there was humor, there was good tension in it. I just had a blast with it. And when you come home and you're like, oh, what am I going to watch? You watch that and you're like, yes, that was fun. This is why I like this genre.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I agree. Good choice, Jack.
Thank you.
Are you typing? Or muting yourself? What the hell just happened?
I typed a little. I'm not like you. I'm not like a muting. I can't. If I start muting, I'm going to forget where I am.
No, you just stopped talking. Is it my turn? Or
It is your turn.
Okay.
You haven't figured this out yet? Well,
all right.
You're probably on cold medicine.
I am. I'm actually hopped up on a lot of medicine. Okay. Number 7 for me.
7. It's 7.
This is one that I'm curious how many people like it versus don't like it. And that is The Black Coat's Daughter. We saw this towards the beginning of the year. I have a feeling this splits audiences, because if you want to talk about a slow burn of a movie, this is it. But the ending had one of the craziest stab sequences I've ever seen in a film. And it really stuck with me towards the end. I just couldn't stop thinking about the movie and some of the things in it. I thought the performances were great. The direction was very, very, really interesting. There was a lot of still shots. There wasn't a lot of camera movement. There was a lot of long shots. It was just a really well-made movie. Probably borderline art house for most people, but I loved it. Oz Perkins is a guy I'm definitely watching.
Yeah, Oz. It was definitely a step up from I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
About 10
I think he did Black Coat's Daughter first.
I think so.
He did, yes.
I didn't see the Pretty Thing in the Walls or whatever. Here's the thing. I rated that movie lower than you guys, and it didn't make my top 10. But I recognize there's some things that didn't work for me in that movie, but overall, I think it's a pretty good movie. There's some amazing scenes in that. So I think because we were talking about it, I pointed out more criticisms than maybe I really have about it, because I enjoyed the movie. The twist for me was one of the things I didn't think was well executed, but I have no problem with this movie being on anybody's top 10, because I think it's definitely worth watching. It's a good movie. I just thought technically they could have done a couple of things to maybe improve it a little bit, but overall yeah, there's some striking things that you'll never forget that happen in that movie that are really cool.
What's funny is it didn't make my top 10 list, final guys list, but it is going to make my top 10 list on other things.
Well,
Like I
yeah,
said, I'm going for different
Mermaid.
aesthetics with different lists. Yeah, maybe the lore might be bumped off by the Black Coat's daughter. Maybe. I don't know. I can't guarantee it. And maybe a cure for wellness. But anyway, my number 7 is, I'm surprised no one brought this one up yet, Gerald's Game. This is my favorite Stephen King adaptation of the year. It's funny. That was a book that I loved when I first read it. And then I reread it before the movie came out. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a tough book to adapt. And Flanagan did a tremendous job with this. I think between his direction and staying as true as you could to the book while still within the confines of, hey, I'm trying to make a movie that's interesting, that's constantly moving for people to stay engaged with. And Carla Gugino's performance, top notch. Really, really one of the, that would make the top 10 Stephen King movies of all time.
no doubt. It just missed my list.
Oh, so 1922 beat, wow.
It was much more of a gut punch for me. I don't know how much I'll go back and watch either one. 1922 because I don't want to kill myself, and Gerald's Game because a lot of it is slow. It's just a woman in a bed talking to a guy.
Yeah, but it's Carlo Gugino in a bed.
But yeah, the thing
Watch
was,
her in Sin City.
it was a coin flip for me. So
I just want to watch the degloving scene over and over again.
yeah, seriously.
And it's definitely one of the best Stephen King adaptations. And in a year with so many good movies, it did not crack my top 10 either. It's one of those ones I would totally, if somebody's looking for something on Netflix to watch, I'd say definitely watch it. Better than a lot of the other Stephen King stuff that even came out this year, but not enough for me. I'll probably never watch that movie again unless I'm like, it's on Netflix. I don't know if I'll ever be surfing and finding it on TV or not, but if I did, I would watch it that way, but I probably wouldn't like sit down and watch it again. Whereas I'll watch Pet Sematary again.
I'm so different. If it came out on Blu-ray, I'd buy the Blu-ray. Like I'd want to own that because Netflix won't be here forever, and I'd rather own a physical copy of that so I have it.
To me, Gerald's Game is one of those movies. Had it come out another year, it probably could have made the top 5, let alone top 10.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. It's just there was so much good stuff out this year. So
I understand. Stephen King's not mad at you.
Good flick.
He collected his money. All right, Jack. Number 6. We're almost at the top 5. One more to go. He's thinking hard here.
It's not your turn?
No, I just did mine.
Oh.
I did Gerald's Game. That's what we're talking about.
I thought that was his. I'm drunk.
We fucking do not listen to each other. This is ridiculous.
it's really bad.
We are
No,
like,
I listen, you idiot. I just don't bless
we
the order.
are 3 men who pretend the other guys are wives, and we don't hear a fucking word that comes out of the other's mouths.
Did you say something?
It's ridiculous.
What?
See? Hebert. Number 6, you jerk.
Could you pass me Rupert Ducky? All right. Number 6 is A Dark Song.
Great one.
So, this movie about a woman trying to reconnect with her dead son, and hires a guy to do like ritual magic. And
From Sightseers.
The guy from Sightseers. This basically 2 people in a house going through like a 6-month torturous ritual, and just grating on each other, and the weird crap going on around them as the magic starts to kind of amplify things. Such a different movie than anything else that's out there. And some of the things that you see at the end of this movie were unforgettable. Really enjoyed it. Probably not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. This is something different and well acted. I thought both people in this movie are tremendous. And there were just times where I was believing that I was watching 2 people trying to do what they were doing.
I'm so proud you put this on the list because I kept it off my list thinking you would have it on your list. So I said, you know what? I know Jack will give it the props, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Show over.
Seacrest out.
All right, what are we on? Number 6?
You had nothing to say about this, huh? Right, Jason? You're done.
Not yet.
I don't have a kid. I don't give a shit.
Maybe I will in a little bit.
All right. Number 6, Jason.
My number 6 was Happy Death Day. This was
that's familiar.
Movie, this is a movie that we vetoed probably 4 months before it came out because we thought it looked horrible.
Not we. I wanted to see it.
Okay.
I'm on record. I wanted to see it.
Well, we will say that Jack really did not react well to the trailer for this movie.
No, he wanted to go see, Devil Dinosaur, the Marvel movie.
So I was not excited to see this, but when I saw all the reviews come out and how much everyone loved it, I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. I checked it out on a late run theater, and man, this was so much fun. Jack, you talked about the Belko Experiment being the kind of horror movie you like to see, and I 100% agree with that, and that's where I am on Happy Death Day as well. A lot of the movies I have on here were really screwed up. They were hardcore or made me feel horrible at the end. Happy Death Day was a PG-13 horror film that was a ton of fun. It was hilarious, and it just really worked for me. I absolutely loved this. It shocked the hell out of me, and I feel like anyone who likes horror needs to check this out. It's incredibly well done. And
it's a self-aware movie too. Like it
100%.
And that helps it.
And the main character goes from the bitchy stereotype character at the beginning to the final girl at the end. So you kind of get a voyage between the two tropes.
Progression.
It's really well done. So,
okay.
Happy Death Day.
My number 6 was already mentioned. It is Split. Again, ran right out to see it. Had a great time with it. I think I've seen it twice, maybe 2 or 3 times I've seen it this year. And it holds up. A lot of fun. Can't wait to see what's coming next. But McAvoy made that movie. He was freaking nuts. Although, I am partial to Betty Buckley. Because, I had a crush on her during 8 is Enough.
Oh, that's right.
So any woman who is married to Dick Van Patten in TV is for me.
I was hoping Nicholas was going to be one of the personalities.
Nicholas. Oh, my God. You know what, Jack? We could have met Willie Ames, and we didn't.
No, we blew it.
Charles. So, yeah, that's my number 6 is Split. So now we're getting into top 5 territory here, and we're 40 minutes in. We're good. Jack, number 5.
My number 5 is a movie I'm not hearing a lot of other people talk about, and I thought it was tremendous, breathed new life into a very stale genre. I'm going with The Girl with All the Gifts.
Oh, good choice.
So this is
that came out this year.
It came out at the beginning of the year. Hardly got any attention from anybody. Glenn Close. I can't remember all the people that are in it. Kind of a different spin on the zombie genre. And my God, was that an entertaining movie with some different ideas. And just to get a zombie movie to actually not have me roll my eyes going, oh my God, they got to stop with these zombie movies. And instead going, oh, look at that. Oh my God, the little details they put into it, the personalities, the gray areas that people, the characters had. It's just so good, so entertaining. And nobody's talking about this movie. And I'm like, my God, you got to see this flick.
Glenn Close is in that, right?
Yeah, she's like one of the military people.
Do they bill her as Mr. Glenn Close now? Like,
I like that movie quite a bit too. It didn't make my top 10 list, but I think it's not so much because of the movie. I was getting really sick of The Walking Dead when that came out, and I feel like I was just kind of done with zombie stuff. And I watched that, and I was like, oh, this is fun, but I don't think it stuck with me. And it's not because it's bad or anything's wrong with it. I just think I was not in the right frame of mind when that movie released.
I did not see it because I am done with zombies. But I've heard so much good stuff. It's on. I think it's on Amazon Prime. So
I think it is.
Watch it.
Worth a watch. Listen, especially if you're looking for. There's so many nights where I'm just going through, going, no.
I don't
have something like that hanging out there that you haven't seen yet.
Right.
Enjoy it while you can.
All right, Jay. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is A Dark Song. I think I've mentioned this in 10 separate podcasts. Oh, I just adored this movie when it came out. I'd never heard of it. The poster looked cool. I liked the description. I checked it out, and I freaking love this movie. There are really 2 actors in it, and it's one of those where if you don't cast this movie perfectly, it's going to fall apart. And they absolutely nailed it. The writing again, has to be pinpoint because it's two people in a house for an hour and a half. And I was riveted the entire time. Half of it's a woman sitting on a floor, peeing herself.
Yeah.
And it's like, it shouldn't work, and it works perfectly. The ending,
I love the fact how you don't know whether he is a con artist or not the entire time.
Yeah, it's like, is this all bullshit? Like, you just
Right.
don't know what's happening with it. And the end was something that at first I thought I might have been a little disappointed, but about 10 minutes later, I was still thinking about it. Like, no, I think that's just the right ending for this. Yeah. And it's one of those that as I stepped away from it, I liked it more and more and more. And it's just stuck with me throughout the entire year. Absolutely love it. That guy is a true voice to watch in horror coming up.
That movie could have easily been screwed up by the ending. And so they stuck it because a lot of weird stuff happens in that ending. There's real stakes to this movie. And my God, one of those movies that potentially just could have been ruined in the last 10 minutes. And instead, they pulled it off.
The last 10 minutes reminded me a lot of The Sentinel. There was that kind of vibe going on there. I love that movie. That's a great movie. And I didn't put it on my list because I was hoping you guys would. Right. My number 5 is, I'm sure most people's number 1 is Get Out.
Get Out.
Get out of here.
I've seen it twice. I thought it's a great movie. And it has mass appeal. Because when I saw it when it first came out, I was in a theater full of everybody from ages probably 10 to 80. And everybody liked the movie. People kind of lingered and talked for a while. And I hadn't seen that happen in a long time. So it's a very good movie. I'm not sure how much of the horror element is in there. Like, what movie, Jack, did you say that I brought up that maybe is not horror?
Logan.
Yeah.
Split.
Yeah, so Split. So this is kind of like on that. It's on that line, which may be why it's voted. What is it, nominated for best comedy at one of these award things? So stupid. That's ridiculous.
Jordan Peele even said that the fact that you have to categorize movies is ridiculous because this does a lot. And this started out as a skit. I think he was writing it as a skit.
Really,
it started to flesh it out, and suddenly he realized he had a horror movie on his hands. And you're right. The conversation, you can go into your office and normies, as we call them, can talk to you and they love this movie.
Yep.
And it's that movie that has crossover appeal. So for guys like us, when you're with a group of people, like, what should we watch tonight? When they're like, oh, let's watch Get Out. You're like, oh, I just won and I didn't have to fight.
I think it's getting way too much credit for addressing all these racial issues. It's so stupid. People going, wow, he really saw into the future because it's addressing the Trump racial issues without realizing that it was made during Obama when we had racial issues going on. So there's a lot of revisionist history with the movie and the way people are interpreting it, but screw all that noise. It's an awesome movie to watch.
Yes, it is.
Okay. You're up with number 4.
All right. This one goes out to Mr. Hunter Shea. I'm putting The Shape of Water. And this is one of those ones, again, I don't know if this is really a horror movie. It probably isn't. But I am convinced because I saw it with a normie, not a horror fan. She thought it was okay, and I loved it. And I realized that this is a movie for horror fans. So it's in the genre. It's got a creature. It's a love letter to horror fans. It is a beautiful piece of art. And again, like I was talking about with other movies, in the wrong hands, this movie would have been a train wreck.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, this so easily could have been horrible. There were just moments I'm like, oh, in lesser hands, this is just terrible. And instead, it was a refreshing, fun, and different. And man, it took risks. They went some places that you're like, oh my God, they went there.
They went one place that knocked it off my number 1 spot, which I will explain. But it would have been number 1 if not for that place. Yeah,
we'll pick it up when you get there.
It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous movie.
Yeah. So, and I had no idea. I knew it was going to be entertaining, but like when the movie ended, my friend turned to me. She's like, "I cannot wait to hear what you think of this." And I just look back and go, I loved it. Like just flat out, I love that movie. That was great.
You should have blown her away and go, meh.
Meh. That was it. After Star Wars.
It's
Meh.
no,
I
it's no Revenge
bone.
of the Creature.
I have a bone to pick with this movie. I still haven't seen it because this insane release schedule they've done, I wasn't able to see it when I was traveling because it wasn't in the theater up there.
Yeah,
So-
it's ridiculous what they've done with this.
I'm hoping to see it this weekend if I have a chance, but it's one I had a feeling would probably be on my top 10 list, and I just didn't even get to see it because
So
of
instead,
this,
Pitch Perfect 3 is on your top 10 list.
Woo!
Just
Rebel
outside.
Wilson.
just outside. Come on, guys. Don't hate.
I love Pitch Perfect.
All right. My
No offense to
number...
Pitch Perfect. I've never seen any of them.
I haven't either.
They're good.
My number 4 is a little film you guys might have heard of called It. Came out in a theater
Oh.
or two, came and went.
I really wanted that movie to suck so my one-word review could be shit. But they foiled me. I was like, God damn it. You made a decent movie.
You were just talking about movies that have crossover appeal that normies will sit and talk about, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
blew up with people who don't go see horror movies.
It's crazy the way that
Yeah.
happened.
And they're all talking about how it's the scariest thing they've ever seen. And, you know, that, which was hilarious because that's kind of my biggest issue with this movie is I didn't think there were any scenes that I found all that scary. But as far as an adaptation of one of Stephen King's longest novels, maybe his longest novel, I'm not sure.
It's close.
It had the tone perfectly. They cast it perfectly, and they managed to squeeze 550 pages or whatever it is into a 2-hour movie, and they just nailed it. The guy who played Pennywise, Skarsgård, he did a completely different take, which I thought was brilliant.
Mhm.
Because then you don't have everyone comparing it to the 90s Pennywise version, which was also excellent, but this was entirely different. And I walked out of the theater loving this. It was one of the best experiences I had in a movie theater with the crowd this year because everybody was losing their minds. And I'm dying to see part 2. Bring it on.
Yeah, people in our theater were going nuts, and I was drunk, and the guy next to me was high, and we were both going, "What the hell is everyone getting all so crazy about?" It's like, but here's the thing: crossover appeal. I think I was in the theater, people who had seen 2 horror movies in their lives, and one of them might have been Care Bears Halloween.
It was Get Out and It.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost it. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they're having fun. So I drank more because I was enjoying the vibe.
Yeah, it's funny. It did not make my top 10 list. And for me, I get the crossover appeal, and I think the movie deserves credit. It's a good adaptation. This Pennywise is now, we always talk about who's the next Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, the horror icon. He's now the recognizable horror icon. The original one was to some degree, but now he's permanently a icon. Great that it has crossover appeal to normies and things like that. So it's great. The reason it didn't get higher for me was just that on a personal level, I never thought it was all that scary. I thought it was like, this is pretty good. But in a year with so many good things, just
Right.
at a personal preference, like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. If somebody asked me, should I watch it? Yeah, definitely. But like if a hardcore horror fan was like, should I watch it or something else? I'd be like, save it, watch this.
Yeah.
Like, so like
Well-
I give it, I totally have no problem with it being on anybody's top 10 list, but didn't crack it for me because I just thought it was okay.
It won't even make my top 13. I don't like the source material. Like Jason, you love it.
Mhm.
I despise it. So, but despite the fact I despise it, and I think that the TV series was just boring and dumb. I actually enjoyed watching the movie. I'm looking forward to the next one. So to do that for me showed me how adept they made that movie because I had no desire to watch it at all. But I had to watch it for the show, and we can claim it on our taxes. Fuck you, IRS. Okay, so what are we on? 4? All right,
Nope,
we're on
3.
No, we're on 4 right now. I got to do my 4. My number 4 is one of my favorite monster movies in a couple of years, Life.
Mm.
Oh, I haven't
I
seen it.
struggled with where to put Life.
Life, I had such a ball with. It hit that hit all my monster movie, horror movie sweet spots. I thought that great cast, good to see what's his name, Ryan Reynolds, bite it so early. But his scene was so, I was like, oh my god, I was like I was literally sitting on the edge of my seat. I just think it's a fun monster movie. It's like a brightly lit alien.
Yes.
And the ending I thought was a great Twilight Zone FU kind of ending.
Awesome ending. I didn't want to see this because it reviewed so poorly. And then when I watched it, I was like, this is a really good movie. I don't see the problem here.
I have not seen it yet, so this was good.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, come to the house. Let's watch it together.
Oh, I will, because it's still a little pricey on the old pay-per-view. I'm not.
I got to go buy it.
I think last time I looked, you still had to buy it. And I don't want to buy one; just rent it.
I want to own it, so I actually want to. Maybe I'll go to Amazon and just buy the Blu-ray. No, because it's monsters, and it was an awesomely executed.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, now we're moving on to number 3. What's your number 3? You are number 3.
I had trouble where I was going to put this. This could have been number 1 for me. Could have been number 2.
Could have been number 7.
I ended up at number 3, but I'll never forget this movie, and I really liked it a lot. Raw.
Oh, I love
cannibalism movie with the what is it? French.
See.
There are some scenes in this movie that I'll just never forget. A bold movie. It's crazy. It's different. It's unsettling.
You know what's funny? On my other lists, it might be 1 or 2, but I didn't put it on this list again because I was hoping one of you would put it on there.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to add a little something
that's
different.
Good. Here. That's good. For me, I know if I recommend this, that some people are going to come punch me in the face after. Why did you tell me to watch that movie?
Those aren't people you want in your life,
right? I'm like, that was thought provoking. It was entertaining. It was gross. It was WTF.
Yeah,
it's just there's so many. So, like I said, there was for a time there. I was like, is this number 1? I don't know. I think top 5 worthy. So it came in at number 3. And look, the scene with the finger. I'll just leave it with that.
God, that was great. We actually heard somebody gagging when she was eating that raw chicken in the refrigerator. We heard someone go like a D from Sunny Philadelphia. I was like, oh my god. I love that movie so much. I've watched it 4 times this year. I've only done that with It Follows in the last 10, 15 years.
Have you liked it more as you've watched it more?
Yes, I have. Every time I watch it, I love it a little more.
That's one I want to go back to because kind of like you felt about The Blackcoat's Daughter, Jack, is how I felt about Raw. As we're sitting there talking about it, I felt like it sounded like I was being more negative about it than I felt. But it wasn't something that fully resonated with me at the time. I could tell it was a good movie and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And it's one I feel like I need to go back and watch again in a different frame of mind to see if I enjoy it more.
Right.
But I still liked it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
Mine is a movie that probably didn't make most people's top 10 lists, and that is It Comes at Night.
Oh.
This movie was a kick in the crotch for me, particularly at the end. I can understand people absolutely hating this movie because of the advertising, and God help you if you saw trailers for this and you went in expecting it to be a monster movie.
That was me.
And it was me too. Fortunately, I must have been in the right frame of mind when I watched it because I absolutely loved it. And the ending messed with me for so freaking long. And it created a nice little meme for us here on the show about aspect ratios.
Exactly.
Which I did look up, and they did change. So you both can kiss my ass. But I thought this was really
kiss
great
my aspect ratio.
Yeah. That's 16 by 32.
There's our shirt. Kiss my aspect ratio.
That's a shirt nobody will buy.
God damn it.
I thought the filmmaking was incredible. I thought the acting was incredible. And even the pacing, which I'm sure some people would think this was a slower paced movie, but because I was so into it, it just really hit me. And I absolutely love this movie. And I'm recommending it to people as long as they have never seen anything about it.
That's another one that I struggle calling it a horror movie, though. It's
It had it for the atmosphere, I think. I think
post-apocalyptic survival movie.
Post-Pocahontas?
Peckers.
That's a great choice. That's one that I have been hovering with, going, does it make the list? Does it not make the list? It didn't make this list. It might make another list, but it didn't make this one.
All right.
Number 3 has been mentioned several times here on the list already, the Belko Experiment. I had a freaking blast in this movie.
Awesome.
Oh my God. A lock 'em up and shoot 'em up movie with the best looking girl that is in all of the horror movies this year. I don't know her name. I can't remember it. She had the tattoos of the birds on her neck. Good God. Great. I mean, Salma Hayek, move over. We have somebody new that might take your spot. We don't know yet. I just thought it was a lot of fun. It was that was pure horror and a little bit of wry comedy, and it was a blast. It was a great ride.
It's great to see the bad guy from Ghost getting more acting work being a bad guy.
Yeah.
What a great cast. That movie's got everybody in it.
It's fantastic.
Michael Rooker.
It's an awesome movie. Yeah, who bites it way sooner than I thought he would.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. Number 2.
Number
You take
2.
a lot of those.
Number 2 is a lower budget movie that is one of the ones that if somebody says to me, 2017, what's a horror movie I should watch? This is probably the first one I'd recommend because it's less mainstream than the other stuff.
A Rare and Pleasant Stranger.
Yes. It's The Devil's Candy.
Oh, great choice.
This movie rocks. It's got
Ethan
some
Embry.
real scary people in it, some real weight to it, and some crazy crap happening. And you don't know who's going to go in what direction. And there's some sort of expectations from a movie that's got a heavy metal undertones to it, and they don't go the usual route of a horror movie with heavy metal influence. The bald guy who's in everything that you see, who plays
on the X-Files. He's been in everything.
Yeah, he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. He's in a lot of stuff. He is tremendous as one of the scary figures in this movie. I can't remember the guy's name who's the lead actor. He was in that.
Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry.
Dutch.
That Thing You Do. He's tremendous in it. And I just tell him, like, oh my God, you got to see Devil's Candy. This is a great, great movie. I had heard a lot about going in, and it didn't disappoint me. A little low budget, so there's a couple of special effects that maybe aren't the best, but
And
overall,
it's quick. I don't even think it's 80 minutes. It's really. There's an extended version somewhere. You can find it in Australia, but not here.
yes.
Drink Sheridan.
Number 2, and I will very happy. Can't wait to watch it again.
That was on my list and got bumped off in like the last cut. I enjoyed that a lot.
Didn't make the last cut. Oh.
The final cut.
All right. Speaking of the final cut, how's your foreskin? No, what's your number
sore.
2?
It was a long holiday season.
He waited a long time to join the tribe.
My festering number 2 is the most conversational movie, controversial movie.
I don't know where you're going with con.
I'm trying to think of other C words to describe this movie.
Esque.
It is Mother with an exclamation point.
Mother.
Your list sucks.
I love your list.
People are going to shake my hand or punch me in the face for putting this movie not only on this list, but so high on it. And to be honest, it would have been my number 1 movie of the year, except for my biggest issue with it. And that's if you are just watching this movie to get a story, it's not good. This movie is entirely about the allegory, 100%. And if you just want to sit down and watch this with a normie, they're going to chop you in the throat about 3/4 of the way through it. But for a film nerd like me, who likes looking into these things, enjoys the filmmaking aspect and the musical choices and the camera choices and the acting and all that nerdy crap, this was my Citizen Kane of the year. I absolutely adored it. My wife and I talked about this movie for weeks afterwards, about some of the choices and what the hell did this mean and what did that mean and what in God's name was he or she drinking throughout the movie. I still don't know.
Oh, who knows? Yeah.
And I freaking love this movie, and I'm going to be fighting about this for years with everyone.
Good fight. Fight the good fight, Jason.
I didn't like it when I saw it, and the more I think about it, the less I like it.
There you go.
I thought it was pretentious. Like I would just and the
Super
whole
pretentious.
it's so pretentious, and the whole like allegory. I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Like
I think what you're mistaking the word pretentious for intelligent. I think that's.
I don't think it's an intelligent movie. It's I get it. Like the story is pretty basic. So
you read USA Today, you don't get it.
I'm so happy I put this on my list.
Okay. My number 2 is The Shape of Water.
I can't wait to hear this. I haven't heard your reaction to this movie yet.
I can't wait to see it.
It's cause I'm not going to give too much away because Jason hasn't seen it yet, but it's I loved Creature from the Black Lagoon and I loved Hellboy because it's that thing from Hellboy basically.
This could be a prequel to Hellboy.
Yeah, it's a great love story. It's poignant. It's lush. It hits a lot of great spots. The only problem that bothered me, there was one scene in particular towards the end. I was like, what the? I mean, I understand Del Toro's pushing boundaries, but I thought he went a little too far with what he'll ask you to accept. And then at the very end, the CGI I thought was so terrible. It was laughable, which kind of ruined a very big moment in the end. But regardless, it was a lovely movie. It was almost everything I wanted it to be. My expectations were so high, almost nothing could deliver what I was expecting.
How about Michael Shannon?
Oh my God, he was great. Michael Shannon's awesome. He needs to be in more stuff.
Yeah, he's an imposing figure.
He sure is. An opposing finger.
Yes.
Which, if you see the movie, you'll understand.
Also, the lead actress, I can't remember her name. She crushes it. Like she should be getting some love at the Academy Awards.
Very nude, by the way.
Very nude. Very
shocking.
Very vulnerable, layered performance that easily could have been a one-note thing. Instead, she made it a real character. Like,
here's one thing: Del Toro took a woman who looks like a librarian, like a sexless librarian, and established very on that she is, like anybody else in this world, a sexual being.
Yes.
And he did it in such a. It was subtle in the fact how it worked into the story, but it was shocking.
They did it in kind of a humorous and blunt way.
Yes, but really, really cool.
Well done. Again, that movie in the wrong hands would have been a traitor.
Yes. Okay.
It surprises me that's not your number 1 because you've been mouth breathing over this movie for months.
I know. I was shocked, but like I said, there were a couple of things that moved it off the number 1 slot. So I had penciled it in, and I had to erase it. All right, Jack, we're down to number 1.
I did not decide on my number 1 until last week when I rewatched this movie.
Is it star Jenna Jameson at all?
All of my actual top 10 have Jenna Jameson. This one involves a massage parlor. No,
Rumple foreskin.
It's zombies.
Well, that's 2 foreskins
versus strippers.
There we go.
No, it's Get Out, and
I knew it. I knew it.
Listen, I wasn't gonna. It was gonna be in my top. It was gonna be in my top 5, and then I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh no, wait, this is number 1 because it's better the second time." Because once you know what's going on, and because the first time you watch, you're like, "What the hell is this? Why is he doing that?" And you're trying to guess.
Right.
Once you know what's going on and you watch it again, you're like, "Oh, this movie's so well done. It just gets better." And the laughs hold up. So the first time I saw it in the theater, again, the United Nations, people of all different backgrounds, and you're just getting like belly laughs and screaming and audience interaction. The Office place, people of all walks of life talking about this movie, maybe even going overboard with its importance in the world. However, it was the racial stuff that was going on in that movie was so well done, and it was kind of a. It was interesting to have conversations with people of different ethnicities. It was kind of a way to talk about stuff and not have to dance around things. It was like, well, we're talking about the movie, so while we're on that topic, what do you think of when people in the movie do that kind of thing? So you could kind of have conversations without going in dangerous places. But man, I'll tell you, when I watched it a second time and it stood up that strongly, I was like, yep, number 1. And it also is number 1 just because it made such a big impact It was like, yeah,
It's everything to you.
Damn fine movie.
It is my everything.
And that scummy brother. Ugh.
Oh my god, he's so gross looking. What's
I
he
just want to
from?
like power wash
Antivirus
him.
or something?
He's Banshee in the X-Men First Class, and
Yeah, but he's from another
he's in
horror movie.
the Last Exorcism, I think.
Oh,
Yes, he's the brother. That's it.
like if you go to dictionary.com and look up Skeevy, there's a picture of him.
If they ever do a sequel to 8mm, he could be like one of the guys working in the
He's
video
the
store.
director.
Jizz mopper. And I don't even use a mop. Jason, what's your number one?
Don't lead into me with that joke.
Jizz mopper, you.
My number one was also Get Out, and it was that or Mother. And as I was thinking about it, I've watched Get Out 4 or 5 times now.
Whoa.
Because I show it to friends of mine and I've showed it to several normies as well, and everyone loves it universally. Horror fans, normies. Yes, it is getting held up now for reasons that are bullshit, because the timing is luck with all this crap that's happening right now. It's not like
he didn't see into the freaking future.
It was just
he was actually writing about what's happening at the time.
It's a fantastic movie that has hit at the right time and it has struck a chord with a ton of people. And even if it had not done that, if this was a movie that just came out on video on demand, I would love it because it is so well written. The pacing is crazy. I absolutely love this movie. Everything, the humor is spot on. His friend in the TSA.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's just a perfect pressure release valve for all the weird shit that is happening to him up at his girlfriend's parents' house. Every time it's like, we need to ease up a little bit. He just cut to a phone call with this guy and it's perfect. The ending,
he was great.
Ending works great. I've never seen someone eat cereal in the way that is done in this movie. And I love it. I've watched this a ton of times. I'm going to watch it more. To me, it is the best horror movie of the year.
I thought Allison Williams did a really good job, and not a lot of people talking about her.
That's true.
She's pretty strong.
Yeah. Everyone in this. I mean, when I heard that Peele was doing a horror movie about racism, my first thought was, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, this is just, it's either going to be a ton of comedy or it's going to be beating me over the head with a social message. And I felt like he just perfectly walked the tightrope. And I bet a lot of people watched this movie and didn't even understand all the stuff he was saying about racism in it because it's just so well done.
Enjoyed it for a movie.
Yeah, you can just watch it as a movie or you can go along for the ride with the message.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm glad I get to be the dissenting vote here. I have a 1A and a 1B. So
cheater.
Yep, I'm cheating. I don't give a shit. 1A is Mother, which no movie made my heart beat faster and made me just feel ickier than Mother. I was having, I'm not kidding. I was having palpitations at one point during that movie because it just keeps building and building and building, and it's just tenser, and you just don't know what's happening. I think Mother is, I kind of almost wish I was back in school and I was in film class so I could watch it over and over again and dissect it with a bunch of people and fight the Jack Campisis of the world every day and look forward to going to class so I could battle and brawl.
I want to leave this podcast with you two liking crap like the my number one horror movie is not a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
It's a horror movie when I look at the fact that I paid to watch it.
They ate her baby, you scumbag. It's horror. So 1B, which I'm surprised none of you brought up, is the Bad Ben trilogy. I'm including all three, not honorable mention. It's 1B. Nigel Bach is the fucking master. I just watched the Making of Bad Ben trilogy, which
so did I.
Look, I didn't pay for it. It wasn't that good. But anyway, I got to see the magic that went behind the making of these movies. There is no movie all of us have talked about more this year than Bad Ben.
It's true.
All three of them. As far as impact on your life, Bad Ben trilogy has been really number one, hands down. No other movie has done as much for us as those three movies. So that's 1B for me.
I was going to mention Batter Ben at the end. I'm still going to. So I 100%. I don't agree with
The
this being the
end.
best of the year, but
The end is number one. There is no more where to go. Where do you want to do? You want to do 17 honorable mentions and 14 bad movies?
yes, actually. No, I do want to mention my least favorite movie of the year. Do you guys both have one?
I have one. Yes.
Yeah, Mother.
See, but that's great. That's what makes a movie great, when it can make number one best and worst. You want that.
I would rather buy The Mummy on Blu-ray than Mother.
Oh, and I would say my worst is The Mummy. I would rather watch my mother take a shower than watch The Mummy.
Oh my God.
Watch my mummy getting soapy and watch The Mummy.
Uh,
Mine is The Dark Tower, and I'm actually wearing a Dark Tower shirt right now because
No
I love the
way.
book series so much.
you were such a tool.
That
That's
movie,
the worst, really.
that movie makes me just want to jump off an overpass. I haven't been so angry at something all year. So, The Dark Tower.
I don't know what's worse, The Mummy or The Dark Tower. That's a tough one.
I got to watch The Dark Tower with Spencer, so he lessened the
Those are
pain.
both two movies that really sucked.
Spencer liked it. I remember that.
Oh God,
The
what?
Dark Tower was
Wait, that's
such
right.
a.
You can't date my daughter, Spencer.
I remember watching The Dark Tower and I haven't read the books. I'm going, is this what everybody's making such a big deal out of?
I read the first Dark Tower book after the movie, and I was going, "What the hell is everyone talking about? This sucks."
It's the
I didn't
later
like
ones.
But then again,
Yeah,
The Mummy had me physically angry at times. That I don't know if I was more mad that I spent money to watch it or what they were doing, the wasted potential. I'm like, so they screw up with Dracula Untold. This is their second attempt at it, and it's even worse. And there was just moments with choices they made. The American Werewolf in London riff, anything Tom Cruise did.
that was terrible.
Oh, it was so. Those two movies are such.
Look, if you want to watch that girl in The Mummy, she's in Atomic Blonde and has a lesbian scene with Charlize Theron.
Atomic Blonde's on my to-do list, so
It's great. It's a lot of fun.
you want to watch a good non-horror movie? Watch Baby Driver.
Yeah, I want to see
Outstanding.
that. Yeah.
And just to end here, I did want to throw out, and the reason I put all these honorable mentions on is because we've been saying all year how good the horror movies were in 2017. So I just wanted to rattle off the movies I had to keep off my top 10 list that any other year would have made it. The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Super Dark Times, The Devil's Candy, Gerald's Game, Creep 2, Life, Annabelle Creation, The Batter Ben, which I loved, Hounds of Love, The Babysitter. I didn't put Stranger Things 2 on there because it's a TV series, but holy shit, I mean, those were incredible.
Yep.
Better Watch Out, It Stains the Sands Red, and Most Beautiful Island. All movies I really dug the hell out of and just couldn't even crack the top 10.
Oh, dude, I got 16 other movies that were on my list that I have to keep off. So
You didn't even mention The Transfiguration, another great flick.
I didn't get to see that one yet. I wanted to.
Next year. It'll make next year's list. All
So
right,
that's it,
guys.
gentlemen.
That was one hell of a list, everybody. You've got a lot of watching to do if you haven't watched all of these to catch up to us.
Check the YouTube description or the description of the podcast episode. If you listen to it, I'll put links in wherever I can, and I'll name everything we had on our top 10 list. So,
And I think
check it
Sheridan
out.
said that they had to do 37 drinks tonight. So you are all dead. You are now the John Bonham. Good night, nurse. Hey, thank you very much, guys. I mean, we started this in May of 2017, and we are still going strong. We have plenty more coming in 2018, and we thank you all for listening to us and watching us and interacting with us and rating us. Really, we wouldn't do this without you, because what would be the point? So thank you all. The final guys, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and stay tuned next week. We don't know what movie because we haven't discussed it. It'll be a mystery. There's usually shit on in January, so we'll find something. Or maybe you guess something.
Well said, man. Happy New Year, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, suckers.